Recently, we've reported severe flooding in the Yangtze River basin in China, partly due to the impact of the Three Gorges Dam. However, the flooding is not confined to the Yangtze River basin but has also become a problem in northern regions. Here's an article on the subject. It covers the massive flooding that occurred in Zhengzhou, China, a few years ago. This flooding drew global attention when subway systems and tunnels were submerged. This year, Zhengzhou has again experienced severe flooding, causing extensive damage. Flooding is occurring in various regions of China, but Zhengzhou is particularly noteworthy for several reasons. Zhengzhou has a coastal city plan aimed at creating a city that absorbs rainwater. Despite investing over 534 billion yen in flood control measures, the city still suffers from severe flooding. The number of submerged vehicles and the scale of the damage are significant, and the Communist Party is obscuring the reality of the disaster, leaving the number of victims unknown. Given this situation, a thorough investigation and appropriate measures should be taken. However, once again, the city is flooded. The Communist Party's response is that the scale of the rainfall exceeded expectations, making it an unavoidable natural disaster. Nevertheless, the party claims that the flood is a once-in-a-century heavy rain and thus a natural disaster. Yet, with over 1 trillion yen invested in flood control projects, it's puzzling why the situation remains so severe. In reality, the Chinese Communist Party is not seriously addressing flood control. The true purpose of these projects is not to prevent flooding but to gather funds under the pretext of flood prevention. This money flows to those with vested interests, and appropriate measures are not taken, resulting in no effective outcomes. Next, I'll discuss broader issues in China. I've previously pointed out that China's vastness creates problems that it cannot solve. In Japan, the scale of China, such as its vast market, is often highlighted. Doing business in China can be lucrative due to the large population, even if individual purchases are small. However, I believe that China's size has negative impacts. The immense scale leads to issues with governance. The central government cannot effectively manage all regions, and local crime groups often have more influence than the Communist Party's local organizations. Corruption and collusion between local authorities and criminal elements sometimes result in a near absence of legal systems. Despite the central government's control over key areas, it struggles to address problems in less significant regions. As a result, there are instances where local governments act against national regulations. For example, even if the national government bans real estate development in protected areas, development may still occur in those regions. This reflects a governance system that is quite different from Japan's. On the other hand, a unified nation could implement comprehensive flood control projects. Despite the government's potential to manage the entire watershed, China has not effectively utilized these benefits. Floods occur every year despite the government's ability to implement unified flood control measures. Additionally, some argue that China's scale provides economic benefits, but this is a partial view. The challenge of providing employment for a large population is significant. Many see Chinese consumers merely as buyers, but they work and earn income for their livelihoods. The lack of sufficient employment opportunities exacerbates the unemployment problem in China. Furthermore, China's overproduction leads to surplus goods that cannot be consumed domestically. Low wages and high unemployment rates make Chinese products cheap, which pressures other countries, especially Japanese manufacturers, making competition difficult. While cheap Chinese products benefit consumers in other countries, they negatively impact local industries competing with them. In conclusion, China's vastness provides some benefits but also presents numerous challenges in flood control and economic issues. Flooding in Zhengzhou and other regions highlights deficiencies in China's flood control and governance. Such flooding is likely to recur in the future. That's all for today. See you in the next video.